Namaste, my fellow strikers. Holy Materia here, back with another Shinobi Striker video. Today we're going to be talking all about the Neji DLC, so let's get right into it. So I honestly think that this Neji DLC is like the perfect DLC for defense types, because we were all worried that defense types are already OP, and we were worried that they were going to be even more OP with the Neji DLC. So nobody wanted that, but we also didn't want a DLC that was just like so underwhelming that it was not really, there was no real point to it. But I feel like Neji hit that middle ground perfectly. Like he has good moves, but they're not like none of his moves are broken, or they won't break the defense class any more than it already is. So yeah, let's talk about each one, because I think all of his moves are good. It just depends on like what level you are and like how you use them, and especially his ult. I think his ult is like just unanimously good on pretty much every game mode, but we'll talk more about it in a second. So let's talk about each of his jutsu. So first we have the gentle fist technique, body blow. This is probably the weakest one, or not even necessarily the weakest, but it's just the hardest to use. So it says this jutsu allows the user to build up chakra in their body and release it from their hands all at once. The user is able to escape from most attacks, and negative effects are also cancelled. So just by pushing it, you automatically negate all status ailments that you might have on you. It's like a counter, so if you use it and somebody comes to attack you while you're using it, then they'll get knocked back. It doesn't do that much damage, but it's more about just like getting people off of you. But the thing is that it's not as good as rotation. Like, it's not as easy to use as rotation, and rotation does more damage, and it also knocks people back. So it's like, why would I want to use this move instead of rotation? But you can use this move to combo, so I think like high skill players will be able to utilize this move really well, but it's not something that like lower skill players can just spam and just like wreck people with like some defense moves that came out with the DLC before. So let's talk a little bit about the second one. So the 8 trigrams Hazen strike. So it says land a huge palm blow to your opponent's chest. I love the way that's worded, to your opponent's chest, blasting out enough chakra to pierce right through them. Deal damage to all enemies in a straight line, and reduce their substitution stock and secret technique. So this one doesn't do all that much damage either, and that's another great thing about these moves, is that they're more about utility than they are about damage. And that's how defense types moves should be. Like, they shouldn't have moves that are just like straight up about damage. It should be about like what it does and how it helps you, or how it helps your team. So this one, it's the substitution stock, and especially the secret technique thing is crucial. Like, the fact that it takes away some of your secret technique. There's some matches I've been in hero mode this time that like people just weren't getting their ults at all the whole match, just because so many people were running Neji and so many people were getting hit by this move that yeah, it's a game changer. Like, you can especially if you want to focus somebody who has like a crucial ult or something, like maybe you're playing and the healer used feather illusion and it wiped your whole team because of the way the team coordinated it. Well, now you can just keep hitting that healer with this move, and they won't ever get their feather illusion again for the rest of the match. So I like that the defense type has this like this new thing that they can do, but it's not just like, oh, look how much damage defense types can do. It's all about damage. Like, that's how defense types should be. Like, they should be fulfilling some kind of role on the team, which is not damage, because we have 2 damage classes already. So it's really nice that the way they did these moves. Now, Neji's ult is great. Like, it works, and it does enough damage so that it's a good ult, but it doesn't do so much damage that it's like OP for defense classes. But I think that this ult is good for every game mode. So the 8 trigrams, 128 palms. It says unleashes a savage combination of attacks on the enemies within the user's Byakugan line of sight, which mimics the 8 trigrams range. Opponents hit receive damage, and their secret technique gauge is reduced. So this is another one, and I think on this move the secret technique gauge gets reduced a little bit over time, and then on that final blow it gets reduced a lot, and that final blow does a decent amount of damage. So yeah, this move, you can use this on combat, or it's good on combat. I feel like this move fulfilled a need that defense types had. Like, they have good ults, but a lot of the defense type ults you need to coordinate with your team for them to be good. So defense, that's how it's supposed to be. So the game is made and you're supposed to play with the team, but And so like that's how the defense types ultimates are kind of set up. Like you coordinate with your team, and you can hold people, and then your teammates can attack them. But if you're playing solo, it's harder to use some of those defense ultimates like water prison. It's not really that useful if you're just playing on a solo team, and you can't really tell your teammates like, hey, I'm about to pop this, you guys have your ults ready or something like that. But this move, you can use it, and it's good on its own. You don't have to really coordinate it with anybody. It does a decent amount of damage, and it has a really nice utility that it lowers the other people's ultimate meters. Yeah, so I think it's a really good move to use on every game mode. So it's good on combat because it does decent damage, and it's pretty easy to hit like multiple people with. And then of course it's good on base and flag because people are going to be grouped up anyway, so you can use those, and it also takes away their ults, which can be game changers, especially on base battle. So I think it's a really good move. And it's not OP. It's good and it's easy, but I wouldn't say that it's overpowered though. So I'm really impressed by how they did the Neji DLC. I feel like this is one time where Soliel actually listened, and they realized like, okay, we don't want to make anything too crazy for defense types because we already kind of gave them too much great stuff. And it's not that these moves aren't great. It's just they're not broken. Like they just did a really good job of balancing how his moves work. So that's about it for the Neji Showcase. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. I'll see you guys in the next one. Everybody stay safe out there. Peace and love.